Happy Veterans Day to everybody out there. JB, it's 11/11, not the time, but the date, and it's a great day. We just went through Election Day, and, whether or not we have full results, it just reflects the freedoms that we have here in this country, thanks to our veterans. It's just, for me, going down to D.C. tomorrow, I can't wait. There's a lot of pomp and circumstance to be done down there. But we've got a guest coming up right now who knows a lot about Veterans Day and the specialness of it. So why should I even talk about it? Let's let him. On the phone with us is head coach Mike Toop, former head coach of Merchant Marine Academy. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
We are good. We miss you, but Coach Kroll's been doing a phenomenal job there in your absence this year. And first things first, how's retirement?
Should have done it years ago. haven't made one bad call this year.
Yeah, yes, you did. To this show. That's probably your worst call of the year right there.
There you go.
Coach, JB, I will get his questions over to you in a second, but you won the Skip Prosser Award, I believe it was, and congratulations to you for that. For those that don't know what that award is, and you are up at Kings Point for that big game, I believe, of Coast Guard at Merchant Marine Academy, also known as the Secretary's Cup game. Tell folks what the Skip Prosser Award is.
Skip Prosser was a graduate of the Academy, was basketball coach at Xavier and Wake Forest, died suddenly, and they came up with this award a number of years ago in his honor, and it was obviously a tremendous honor for me to be awarded that last night.
Congratulations to you. I know it means a lot to you, and it meant a lot to everybody to have you back up this weekend. JB, what do you got for us?
Well, I just wanted to tell Coach, first off, congratulations. I think one of his kids, I believe his daughter, was married recently, so one more off the payroll, so to speak. I'm working my way there as well, but just kind of what he's been up to. Like what's the Tooper been doing these days?
And Tooper, it was your son that actually got married, I think.
Son got married back in April, and one of the reasons we went down to Texas, he's a veteran, was a captain of the Marine Corps, and got out and is a fireman paramedic down in Dallas. Met a gal actually on the job, a ER nurse. They got married back in April, so it was a good place for us to head down to. So we bought a house in about 3 weeks when we got down in August, and been spending all our time on the house, getting it fixed up and all of those things, and emptying the 7,024 boxes my wife's hauled around for the last 40 years at 8 different houses. So yeah, it's been good, but haven't missed a game, that's for sure.
Your wife probably wants to kill you for all that stuff that she had to lug around. And she's the boss of the house. Don't kid yourselves, folks. We've had this discussion before.
I'm just a GA at home. Let's get that straight.
Yes, you are. Hey, listen, Coach.
Yes, sir.
As I said in the open here, Veterans Day. I'm a mayor now, and people say, "Oh, you protect your village's freedoms and liberties to a certain degree." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? The people that do that are veterans, are military. I mean, come on." But in your own words, what does Veterans Day mean to you?
Well, being in a family where 4 generations of us served, it's, it was an honor for all of us in our family to serve for sure. And I can speak for all the guys here and all the vets in all branches. I mean, tremendous sacrifices that the families have to deal with. But, as you said, without our veterans, the freedoms that we're able to enjoy would not exist. So it's definitely a great day for us to celebrate the vets.
What's going to happen over at the Academy besides prep for the game, obviously, on a day like today?
Well, actually, they had finals last week, so the Academy's on break this week between trimesters. The bunch will be back for the game tomorrow, the mids. So it's a little quiet here. Tonight there's another dinner that I'll actually attend. We do a big dinner the night before the game. we'll host it where a number of the Coast Guard people, a number of Kings Point people be at the dinner, and, different people get up and speak and say nice things about their own academies and one another, and, in preparation for the game tomorrow. So it's just a really great weekend. As I've said, I've said this over the years. I mean, this is the Army-Navy game. It's smaller guys and smaller venues, but no less intense, as you've witnessed firsthand. And, it's a tremendous way to culminate careers when you're a senior on either side.
The biggest memory I have from the few that I've attended has to be in 2020, one of the 6 games played in Division III, I believe it was, in the fall of 2020, and you basically said, Ross, get your butt over here. We are making sure you are on campus with ESPN and everybody else. And I came over, and just when you had the COVID situation the way it was, and it just took on a special meaning, that whole game, and being able to be there for it still gives me chills to this day. So, and that was thanks to you, Tooper, so we thank you for that. Let me ask you a question, though. I'm going down to D.C. tomorrow for Springfield at Catholic. Who wins that game?
Don't care.
You know what, Tooper?
We lost to both of them, and I'm still bitter,
ours.
so, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in retirement. So, no, but, 2 really good teams. Should be a hell of a battle. But, yeah, so it's... I'll be tracking it, obviously, because I still have a tremendous allegiance to the NUMAC and follow it, But, we lost to both, so it really doesn't matter to me. We don't get to go. So.
Well, wait a minute. You got fondness for the NUMAC. Catholics leaving you for the Landmark. I mean, where's the fondness at that point?
Well, now that you're going to bring that up, I hope Springfield wins by 50.
Tooper, I'm going to let you send us into our open here, but I thank you for joining us, and remind folks that are watching or listening to Season 15 of In the Huddle, and anything else you want to say out there.
No, I appreciate it. I've been tracking you guys all year, and, nothing's changed. You guys do a phenomenal job for Division III. D3 doesn't get the hype, obviously, but I'll tell you what, you guys know firsthand that the intensity level on the field at the Division III level is certainly no less than what you see on the big screen with all the D1 guys, and so a lot of it's thanks to you and the other social media outlets that cover us. So owe a lot to you guys. Really appreciate it.
Like Pat Coleman sitting on my couch right now from D3Football.com. Folks,
100%.
There you go.
100%.
Folks,
Special guest.
Yeah, you're watching Season 15 of In the Huddle, the live show. Here we go. Doesn't get any better than that. I don't care what you say. Having Tooper on the show is always
awesome,
a highlight.
man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And thanks to him
great.
for.
What do you think about this game? I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
Interview of the year right there.
Let's put it that way. Springfield by 50.
Yeah.
Retirement's
Oh my
great.
God,
You don't have to
that's
worry
classic.
about the blowback on any of that. But that's the thing. He never worried about the blowback when he coached, so it didn't even matter back then. But thanks again to him. I called him up at 8 a.m. or he texted him like, "Hey, you awake?" He calls me. He's like, "What do you mean, am I awake? He's
Probably up since 4 a.m. I mean, yeah.
And that's why
400,
right
baby.
there. Yep, you got it. JB, we're looking at this graphic here again, courtesy of our friends at Reddit CFB, about the games that really matter, although there's one that matters a lot more than probably any of these to a lot
Maybe
of teams
even
across
more,
the country. Yep, so why don't you run down these quickly, and then we'll talk about that other game a little bit, and we'll have a guest related to it coming up here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thanks to this handy graphic, we basically have the 9 winner-take-all conference championship Pool A clinching games on Saturday, starting off with a couple at noon with UMass Dartmouth and Plymouth State, Springfield Catholic. This is in Region 1. the New England region, even though one of the teams happens to be in D.C. Go figure. But yeah, Mascac NEWMAC title kicks off at noon, and then out in Michigan we got Albion versus Alma, a battle of undefeateds. Albion could be a potential Pool C bid team should they lose this game. Potentially, it's a 1 o'clock kickoff. We'll have to wait and see. Wabash and DePaul for the Mon and Bell. I know a certain Greg Thomas, aka at Wally Wabash, will be very invested in seeing this one and how it plays out. 1:07 kickoff with a little, I think, pregame, maybe bell ringing going on. Out in the Heartland, Rose-Hulman takes on Mount St. Joe's in Cincy at 1:30. Bethel and St. John's. This is probably one of the biggest games of the weekend, although we sort of tipped our hat or tipped our thoughts at, regardless of who wins or loses this game, both of these teams will probably make the field of 32. St. John's hosts this year, just the way the MIAC has its rotating championship game. Bethel beat them last time. Can they do it again? We'll see. Concordia at Aurora out in Illinois is also another 2 o'clock kickoff for the NACC championship. Out in Southern California, this actually might be a game that Greg may walk across the street to go check out. The 6th Street rivalry, as it's called, Claremont Mud Scripps is taking on Pomona Pitzer, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. West Coast time, and then 5 o'clock down in Jersey. Hopefully it won't be too rainy. I think the what we had here in Florida is headed up your guys' way, but Christopher Newport is taking on Salisbury at 5 p.m. It'll probably get under the lights after about the first quarter. And now that we've gone through daylight savings time, the winner of this game will clinch the NJAC championship and go to the playoffs.
Just to confirm, Greg Thomas, I was just told by our producer in the background, Pat Coleman, I will be attending the 6th Street rivalry, which is literally, 5 colleges all put together, 2 of which will now face off on the same field that they play on normally. It's an amazing little thing out there, and people have been hitting me up about how important this game is and how unique it is this year and everything else. However, let's go to the other board here that we have, which is called the Week 11 games that can lead to a Pool A/tiebreakers, etc. That's probably the worst title we've ever had, but we'll just go with it. In the ARC, it's Wartburg at Co at 1 o'clock. Yeah, no, not at all. In the Midwest Conference, Lake Forest at Chicago. In the OAC, Mount Union at Baldwin-Wallace. In the WEAC, it's Stevens Point at Whitewater and or Platteville at La Crosse. Now, I've really circled this one. You'll see it on Quick Hits. If you haven't seen on Twitter already how much importance I'm putting on this game. It is a huge game. No matter how you slice this, the Pool C implications based on how the regional rankings were set up are immense. And a lot of teams are going to be watching this game. I hope they've extra bandwidth reserved for the number of people tuning into it because it will be that big, I think, in this country. I'll be watching on the sideline at Catholic tomorrow. Let's talk to a player who's going to play in that game and talk about the implications for other teams, his team, and everything else. Sam Tausz, defensive back from UW-Platteville. And we'll get him on video or audio-wise. There we are. Sam, how are you this morning? And how excited are you about this big game and the spotlight coming with it here?
I'm pretty excited. I know the whole team's excited. Big game, obviously, like you said, the whole country's going to be watching. There's a lot of stipulations based on who wins and who loses. So just going into Saturday, we're excited to get after it.
I don't know if you saw my tweet about Hardin-Simmons fans and if they had any messages for your team out there, but we did see one that was in particular pretty good. The SpongeBob SquarePants, please God, let them win moment here from our friend Big Country Blitz out in Twitter land. So there's that. JB, I know you're excited about this game. Go ahead.
Well, actually, Sam, I was going to maybe step back and do a little bigger picture thing. You guys have had one of the more amazing seasons. I mean, this 22 season has been one of the ages for Division III football, but you guys have had some crazy games. The win over Whitewater. You've had some sort of ups and downs. What's it been like? Kind of going through this roller coaster ride. How does the team feel going into this final regular season game with all this stuff on the line?
Yeah, I mean, going into the year, we were all pretty excited. We had we all off season, get after it, lift in practice. We felt like we had a strong team. And then going into the year, we started off pretty slow, which is not kind of what we expected. And then I think once we played Oshkosh, we we kind of ran a little bit there, but I think that was a turning point. I think all the leaders on the team, all the guys on the team kind of realized like we got to step it up. We got to put a little more effort in, practice harder. And then, from there, River Falls, Whitewater, leading up all the way up to this week. And now we have a chance to do something special and win a game that, we really shouldn't even be here based on how the season started. But, we came back.
I want to walk you through it a little bit here, actually, and courtesy D3Football.com's graphics, I'm going to walk you through it here for a moment. There was a point in this season when you were 1-3, and granted, 1-2 against Division III opponents. I can't tell what Michigan Tech is or isn't, so we'll just go with it. But 1-3 is where your start was. They are D2, but in terms of how strong they are in D2, it's always tough to assess that. And then, that Stevens Point win, nice, but expected. But then this gauntlet of River Falls and Whitewater, you guys win these games and then lose that, triple overtime game against Stout, bounce back against Eau Claire. Sam, this has been a bizarre season, no doubt, but how did you guys get it back on the rails when you guys started with that pretty horrendous start, all things considered, despite that Bethel win?
Like I was saying, after that Oshkosh game, the coaches talked to us, talking about just in practice, we just got to make sure we turn it up. We're not slacking in any drills, any indie periods we get, that we're all in. There's nothing to lose at that point when you're 1-3. There's no taking anything lightly. It's all it's all gas, you know what I mean? And I think once we saw the success from River Falls and see like what we could really do, I think that really kind of, carried us into Whitewater having a strong game. And then obviously Stout was a little bit of a letdown, but, it was a close game, triple overtime. Anything can happen in those games. So, now we're just moving on.
Sam, one of the things I noticed from your stat sheet is that you forced a fumble in the win over Whitewater. I imagine in this, game with a team like Lacrosse that turnovers are going to play a role. Would have been some of the things sort of defensively that you guys have been sort of talking about, preparing for? This is a strong Eagles offense coming into Saturday.
You just got to take advantage of what, opportunities there are. You can't do anything crazy. Our coaches are always telling us that, do your job, make your play when it comes. And if there's an opportunity and you show up, that's what's been happening the whole year. We got linebackers making picks, DBs making picks, big plays. And it's not like some other people are doing more than others. It's all just a team effort. Everyone's making plays when the time comes.
Sam, I was kind of harsh, I guess, on our Wednesday live show when we talked about the regional rankings, about the chances of potential 6-3 team. Yeah, me harsh. Who knew? 6-3, at least in Division III team, and the chances they have of getting in through Pool C. But there is some thought out there that the Region 6 RAC has lined you up in a way where you will be on the table at some point probably and under discussion if you win Saturday. I think it's time for equal time here to give you the floor and say to you, Sam, make the case to those listening out there, because yes, granted, emotional appeals are not one of the criteria, I don't believe, for selection in Pool C, but there is a human element out there. Make your appeal. If your team wins against Lacrosse on Saturday, should you be picked, and why?
Yeah, obviously, I think we should be picked. We've beat big teams, good teams throughout the year. I think that just looking at some of the losses we've taken have been critical and obviously hurt us, but just the teams we have beaten and kind of where we can be, I think there's just, it definitely is up for discussion, like you said. Like, I don't think we should be overlooked by any means. Lacrosse is a good team. Whatever happens Saturday happens, but we beat Whitewater, we beat River Falls, and I think Bethel. We just have a proven track record of beating these top tier teams that I think it means something.
Absolutely. So I don't really know the geography of Wisconsin that well, but Do you expect, what kind of a crowd are we expecting? I think the game's at La Crosse. Platteville's probably not that far away. I mean, I imagine the Pioneer faithful will, get in their wagons and roll on up. What's the game day experience going to be like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of lacrosse fans, but I think our Pioneer fans travel well. Our Pioneer families are always there. They're cheering. Even at Michigan Tech, 7 hours away, that little stands that we had for the away team was filled, and there's a lot of energy from them. So I'm sure they'll show out for sure.
Sam, it's tough for us to tell who's who and what's what in terms of eligibility remaining. You are listed as a senior. Some schools now list grad to indicate to us this is the final year for a player. What is next for you? Win, lose, or draw at the end of this? Or are you still up in the air? Do you have eligibility remaining? Are you considering using it? I mean, tell us a little bit about you, and then I have another way to learn a little bit more about you. I'll show you in a second, but go ahead first on that question.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I got one more year left. I know our defense as a whole, we got a lot of guys that got one more year left. I know a lot of us are planning on, using that extra year, play another year of football. So I think as we look at our team as a whole, we got a good year coming next year too, additionally.
I think I just heard a bunch of thuds in Wisconsin from WIAC head coaches saying, damn it all, he's coming back possibly next year. What the hell? Can't get rid of this guy. Anyway, Sam, I found a way to learn a little bit about you, and this is about a year old now, so maybe some of the answers have changed. However, your media folks over at UW-Platteville do a great job, and we're going to meet you via a little old video, and JB takes some notes because I think we're going to have some follow-up questions coming up very soon here.
Hi, my name is Sam Tausz. I play football here. I'm a junior in the classroom and I play safety. I decided to choose Platteville because when I went on my tour here, we walked around the campus obviously, and all the facilities they had were pretty nice and up to date compared to other campuses that I visited. Favorite spot on campus would have to be, there's like a hidden area right behind the basketball courts that's pretty quiet, so you can get a lot of homework done there. There's not too many people walking around. Some advice I'd give my freshman self would be to get out a little bit more and maybe go to the gym and make some other friends outside of football. My favorite thing about being a Pioneer football player would be all the friendships that I made with the guys. They've been through the grind with you through summer camp and even during the season, waking up early, going to bed late. So, yeah. Pump up music. Dark Queen by Lil Uzi. The Waterboy. Road trip snack. Probably just a bag of barbecue chips. I'll just go with The Office. Definitely at the field house playing pickup basketball. Yep. Got to be the same socks, same undershirt, same sliders. It's all game day specific. Down south, probably to Florida where it's nice and warm on the beach.
Sam, be honest, do you
Florida,
wash those
baby.
socks?
Love it.
Do you wash the socks?
Do I wash the socks? Yes, I do wash the socks.
That might be a great way to really, be a good defender out there is by not washing the socks. But some guys won't if they're a tradition like that. But okay, The Waterboy, still your favorite movie?
Yeah, no, I love that movie. Ever since I was little, watching it with my dad, my family, my mom. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Okay, well,
Random fact, Frank.
Yep.
Real quick. The Waterboy, all the football scenes were filmed just about 45 minutes north of me in DeLand at Stetson University in Florida. So what can I say?
Sam, there's a trophy that was pointed out to me. Our good friend Pat Coleman's here, and he saw your background there. There's a trophy right behind you, depicted at least. Tell us about what that is and how meaningful that is for you guys to possess it right now.
Yeah, if you're talking about the Whitewater, the memorial acts between Whitewater and Platteville, yeah, that was a great moment. I remember last year we kind of got blown out by Whitewater, just to be straightforward, and seeing them win the acts and their whole team celebrating around it's a bittersweet moment. And coming next year, I think on our home field, I think we play really well at home. And to actually come out with the win and see Munns get that axe and the whole team celebrate around him, I think that was a really special moment.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we wish you luck on Saturday. I know the whole nation's going to be watching you guys, and it's going to affect the whole entire tournament, I think, depending on how things shake out. So we wish you well, and we'll be tuning in for sure from various parts of the country. But Sam, wanted to say, this is your floor now. We like to have this tradition for all the student athletes who join us to have a chance to do shout outs to any family, friends, coaches, whoever, teammates, etc. Floor is yours, Sam.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, mom and dad, for sure, they put me in a position to succeed and be where I'm at right now. Family, obviously, brothers and sisters, and I would say our whole team, more specifically, like our defense as a whole. I think we got a really special culture here. I think even all the way starters, young guys, freshmen, seniors, everybody, like we're all bought in together. We spend time together outside of football, and I think what we got going is really special.
I can't remember a team having a roller coaster season like this, to be honest with you. And what we showed earlier, what you talked about, and the highs and the lows, or the lows and the highs, I guess, in some ways we should look at it as. Coach Munns must be a special guy to be able to get you guys to still kick it into high gear the way you did mid-season and forward. So send him our best. I know he's very hands-on and was reaching back out to us yesterday, and your sports information department as well, for all their help on this interview. But Sam, good luck to you. We'll see what happens here. If you win, I know you guys are going to be tuning in to the selection show 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 o'clock Central on ncaa.com, and we'll be talking to the chair after that. So we got a lot of content that might affect your team. First things first, get your business done on Saturday. Good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Sam Tausz joining us, folks.
Sam. Getting up extra early to join us. And, I think at the start of the interview, he was like,
yeah, well, I would be. It's 9
o'clock.
I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, JB, we showed the big games, but there are other games out there that are big as well for their own reasons in regions 1 through 6.
Man, yeah.
Yep, so I'm going to let you run through them a little more speedy here, because we have a record number of games to pick coming up in our predictions segment, and also a couple hype videos slash Twitter videos that we want to show as well, which is now our new weekly tradition when we can find them without commercial music attached. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Here we go.
Yeah, so Friday night we got a couple of games in New Jersey. Canes taking on TCNJ, and then coming down from Maine, I saw they posted a picture on Twitter. They had a practice at Princeton University. The Nor'easters of New England are taking on Rowan, the Profs, on Friday night. Well, tonight, I guess, 7 o'clock. And then Saturday we got all the big rivalry games, the Secretary's Cup, what we talked about with Coach Toop, the Coast Guard against Merchant Marine. We got Cortica at Yankee Stadium, where I know Pat Coleman and D3Football.com will be there front and center to cover that. We got the shoes. I can see the helmet over your shoulder, Frank. I see the U. We got the Union against RPI, Amherst Williams, the biggest little game in the country, as they like to call it. And even Saturday Night Lights up in Maine, man. You got Colby at Bowdoin for the CBB, that little rivalry cup thing that they got going on up there. We got Carnegie Mellons taking on Case Western Reserve, which won't really affect the PAC title anymore, given Case's 1 point loss. They've had 2 games this season, Frank. They've lost 14-13. That's really got to stick in the craw of the Spartans a little bit. But they could play spoiler to Carnegie Mellon's nationally win streak. Is what, 16 games they won in a row now, regular season, however you want to call it. No contest notwithstanding. But obviously, it looks like you like the Secretary's Cup. I've thrown some little NESCAC love to Colby and Bowdoin. CMU versus Case is your pick for the game 2. I'm surprised you didn't pick the shoes, Frank. Come on, they might take away your Union alumni card.
Let me tell you the reason I did it. I can't remember a game with implications like this at 7 p.m. on Selection Saturday, which causes some real huge problems. Not only do they lose an hour on the other side on Sunday because we're moving it up to 5 p.m., the Selection show, but this game will not be done until about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and they can't in earnest do their first set of rankings and then get everything squared away with the racks and everything else until this is done.
It's going to be a late night, yeah.
It's going to be in the late night, and I kind of feel bad for the committee in this respect because they have been trying to move games. Remember last year when I was trying to get Union RPI moved to 5 o'clock or something, and that was controversial?
Yeah.
7 o'clock ain't any better in this respect, so here we go with that.
No.
Let me move us on to Regions 3 and 4. It is not plentiful in these two regions in terms of games that we're going to look at beyond the ones we talked about earlier. Although Randolph-Macon at Hampton-Sydney, a pretty darn big game out there. Maryville
game, yeah.
at Bellhaven as well. Hanover at Franklin, and Hendricks at Barry. I pick Randolph-Macon at Hampton-Sydney. You pick Maryville at Bellhaven, which Bellhaven's still technically with a punter's chance if they finish 9-1, but their strength of schedule is woeful.
You never know.
And we have not been shy about telling them that. In Region 4, we both pick Hanover versus Franklin. And I will let you finish
game,
out. Yep.
Well,
5.
not really. It's a Victory Bell game. Yeah, I was thinking of the Rose Holman game. That's right.
Regions 5 and 6.
So out in 5 and 6, Lawrence and Ripon. Ripon is in the regional rankings. They kind of need to win this game to stay up there. We'll see. And then there's all that crazy Midwest Conference tiebreaker situation. You're picking that one. But I think, Central at Dubuque could be interesting. Dubuque still with, as you said, a punter's chance of winning the ARC through kind of a Rose Bowl rule tiebreaker situation. That's something to keep an eye on. Oshkosh at Eau Claire. The reason I put that one out there is I think Oshkosh, if they win this game, will effectively finish second or third or fourth in the WEAC, and they have a chance to get picked for the Isthmus Bowl. And so if they win that game, I think the Titans are going to get that call, and they'll probably end up playing against Wash U. We'll see. Out west, we got George Fox at Whitworth. It's a solid game. Both of those schools put on great broadcasts. If you're just a fan of D3 football, tune in for that one. Specific at Pac-Lou, another Northwest rivalry game. So we each kind of like some of the different stuff out there, and we'll see what happens.
Let's go to some of our favorite videos of the week. We've got 2 here. First off, we'll go with your pick. You beat me to this one, basically. But, what better way to celebrate Secretary's Cup than on a bar stool? Or, with bar stool, perhaps, in this case. Here is how they decided to celebrate. Yep.
Okay, here's the most important thing. Okay, we're going to show you how important here is.
Hey boys, are you got a big game this week versus those Puddle Pirates, the Secretary's Cup? That's right, what you coaches want to let you know. If you want to play good, you got to look good. If you look good, you play good. So you got those battle standard blue uniforms for you guys this week. Represent the 142 who all lost their lives, the ultimate sacrifice to this country. So we need Kings Point to go out there and beat the Coast Guard and beat them like the drum.
Those uniforms are just awesome. Where can I buy one? Take my money, please. I mean, those are great. Love it.
Did he really call
Just
them
tell me
Puddle
where to
Warriors?
send the check.
Did he really call the Coast Guard Puddle
Pirates.
Warriors?
I thought he started calling them
Puddle Pirates.
I thought he called them Puddle Pirates.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, God. Dave Portnoy, he's going to get in trouble for that one eventually. Anyway, we're going to go to Yes Network for this one and courtesy them on this. But it's a big-time game, Yankee Stadium. There's no avoiding how huge this is. We talked about why I'm not there. That's in the past here. It's still huge game, no matter how you slice this, and it has implications for seeding. But it's Cortica. And what does Cortica mean? Well, here you go.
Cortica is literally like a national holiday in upstate New York. I mean, it was just fun because it's the time of year when all your friends from all different colleges, they meet up for that weekend. It just in New York State and all over, people are coming there to have a good time with all their friends. And the game is so important too, and especially this year with both teams being undefeated, it adds to it. I just remember that it always used to be on either Cortland's campus or Ithaca's campus, and it was just absolutely wild. I mean, it was such a good time to sort of reminisce with all your old friends and people on campus, and you sort of intertwined your college friends with your high school friends and friends from home, and that's just such a unique experience, and it was just awesome. In college, it's the biggest little game there is, and like there's the Yankees and the Red Sox, but when you're in college in this moment, it feels like that. It's a pure rivalry. It's so close. It's a 25-minute, 30-minute drive, and as a player, not only for baseball, but I can't imagine how the football players feel in that. That's one of the most important games of the year. And it doesn't matter if the team that you're playing is 0-12 that year and the other team's 12-0. It's always going to be a competitive game just because of the rivalry of it.
Okay, we've got a little person. No, you're not a little person. You're a big boy.
Little person, come on. Yeah.
Back home and joining us.
He's a man.
I'm a man. I'm 49.
Me too.
Listen.
Well, almost. Pretty soon.
You're going to Cortica tomorrow. You made the trip out here with your daughter, Colleen. I know Larry Raloff from D3 Photography is coming out as well. So you're going to have great coverage, and that's what I was referring to in that video yesterday. But how excited are you for this? You went to the one at MetLife, but what about this one?
Well, I'm always excited for any game that's in a big venue. We have been advocating for this for a long time, as you know, Frank, and I'm glad to see that Cortica Jug has really kind of gone into this with full force. I remember we were talking about it being like in whatever the Carrier Dome is called now in Syracuse. This is so much better. MetLife and now Yankee Stadium. What a great venue for this game. So I'm super excited. This game has been, like I just had, this is a week I have my daughter, so it was like, she's got to come with me. There was no way I was going to miss it, and I was not going to give up a weekend with my daughter, her senior year of high school. So we're doing all the things. I'm looking forward to it.
You're doing it live.
We're doing it live.
Yes, you are. So I convinced Pat to join us here for lightning picks. So now we have to be super lightning here, JB, because we have 20 games to pick right now. 20 games, and this is going to be. I mean,
I had a feeling you were going to do this. When I looked at all the lists, I'm like, there's no way we can do like 13 or 12 or whatever. There's just too many.
It's too many. So don't blame me. I'm not trying to stack the deck here. We still have 31 games in the playoffs to call, and maybe even some bowl games if we want to go that way next week. But first things first, let's get everything moving here, and we'll start with a little bit of music. And so here's what we'll do. We'll go rotation-wise. So we'll go reverse rotation. JB, you'll start the first game. I'll start the second. Pat, the third game, and so
it's
forth.
Like a snake draft.
Yeah. Well, not really, because we're not going back and forth. We'll just keep rotating. Okay. So let me see here. What's our first game, you ask? It is the MASCAC Championship. UMass Dartmouth and Plymouth State. JB, go.
I'll take the Corsairs of Dartmouth to win this one. I think their offense is just a little too explosive, although the Panthers will keep an interesting, lower-scoring game, 27-20.
JB, say it with me. Dante Avila Santos will play 60 minutes.
Damn. Oh, I said damn it too soon.
60 minutes of damn football in the win here, even on the road. Yeah, damn. It's going to be 30-17, UMass Dartmouth.
I'm going UMass Dartmouth. Also, love offense over defense, even though that's not the way people say it should be. And I think this is a bigger margin. I think this is like 34-14.
Bold prediction there to start things off. I'll start this one.
Hey, it's your show. I can do all the bold things on this show.
Yeah, but it does get out there. People will see your face. Don't worry. Springfield at Catholic, I will be there. And so this is going to be a tough one to pick for me. I'm going to say you give it to the team that's been there before in these types of situations. I'm not going to say Springfield by 50 like Tupper just did at the open of the show, but I will say Springfield by 20 by the score of 34-14. Pat.
This is a snake draft, then. It's exactly what this is, you see.
Okay, fine.
Catholics are my alma mater. I cannot do anything other than that. I think it's going to be an exciting, tight game. You're going to be in a good place. 35-34 Catholic. Go Cards. This fist on camera.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, the one thing about triple option in offense is at least they can keep the other offense off the field for an extended period of time, but they may score fast. I'm going to go with the Pride. I just feel like they're a little more battle-tested, but high-scoring, 42-35.
Another championship here at the NJAC. It's CNU at Salisbury. Pat starts.
All right, so I'm going to take Salisbury in this one. I'm just basically going wherever our poll goes or wherever my ballot goes. So I think this is like Salisbury 27-17.
JB?
I mean, Salisbury beat TCNJ 70-17, and TCNJ almost beat Christopher Newport last week. It was a 24-21 game. I think Salisbury wins big, say 42-14.
By the way, I just started the clock, so we had a little bit of grace period there. I will say, hey, what'd you expect? Salisbury, again, I'm going to pick who's been there before. I think it's been since 2014 that CNU's been in the playoffs. So I'm going to say Salisbury wins this game 37-20. Next game up, JB starts. It will be in the ODAC, Randolph-Macon at Hampton-Sydney. JB.
Yeah, I mean, Randolph-Macon's got that QB who's so accurate. I think they're going to just roll in this one on their way to hosting a playoff game next Saturday. I'll take what are they, the Jackets?
Yellow Jackets, yep.
Or the Hornets or something? No,
Yellow Jackets.
Right. By the way, happy birthday, Keith McMillan. He's probably 23 or something like that. Randolph-Macon wins 49-35.
The quarterback you're speaking of is Drew Campanelli, former Franklin Pierce quarterback, the winless Franklin Pierce team that he left to come and transfer to Randolph-Macon. You'll see a lot of stuff about that this week. And he is something. He's a bit of a phenom at Randolph-Macon, so great to see him meshing well with a new team. And I think you're right. Although the moment of this game can be very huge once you play it for your first time. But I think he will get the ship righted by the second half and win this game by the final score of 30-24.
I love Marty Favret, head coach at Hampton-Sydney. Used to be an assistant at Catholic. He's a guy with a basketball background, head coach of football. Love it. But they haven't won the game against Randolph-Macon in I don't know how many years. It's one of those umpteens where I lose track. Keith McMillan turns 46 today. Randolph-Macon 46. And Hampton-Sydney, assuming they have two goalposts, 23.
I'm older than Keith? Really?
Yeah.
I always thought I had a year.
That's right.
Yeah, sad but true. Albion at Alma. I think I'm tripping on it now that you were doing pronunciation 101 on this now. Albion will win this game. I believe that they just have, again, the experience in these moments, and Alma has not had that level of experience. Albion is also a very well-balanced team, I view them as, so I think they win this game a little bit lower scoring than normal, 27-21.
I'm going to go Albion against Alma as well. I'm going to say something like 38-23. Alma, big weapon. Jose Hernandez, I think that's the right first name. The kicker who had two big 50-yard field goals last week. That's why I say 23.
Does Alma get in through Pool C, do you think?
I don't see Alma as a viable at-large right now, no.
JB?
Yeah, me neither. And I think the Brits are just a little more battle-tested. I think they learned a lot about their team when they eked out that 20-19 win at Trine. I think they're on their way back to the playoffs, and so I'll go with the Brits 28-24. I think it's the score of the year. Might as well.
It's the Great Thomas Bowl.
All right, so I'm going with defense on this one. I know I went with offense before, but this is a game that I think I favor DePauw by a score of something like 28-24.
JB?
Yeah, I mean, I know that Leon Thompson, QB, has helped them win some crazy games, but I also feel like DePauw's defense, like Pat was alluding to, might be the difference here. A little bit more of a back-and-forth affair, but I'll take the Tigers 31-28.
The home team matters to me here, actually, in the game like this. I'm going to go with DePauw, and I'm going to go with DePauw by a score of 24-23.
Well, a sweep and the Monon Bell picks. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, seriously.
Wabash should
Sorry, Greg.
work on returning punts. Yeah. Sorry, Greg.
True. Okay, Rose-Hulman at Mount St. Joseph. JB, you start.
Mount St. Joe's did not look impressive last week, but they have managed to win all their games. Rose-Hulman's a little up and down. So, I mean, I think, once again, I'll give the home team a little edge there. I think the Lions will hang on in a 35-28 game.
I'm going to, again, allude to giving a little edge to those who have been there most recently, and I think Rose-Hulman is that team in this situation. I'm going to give them a slight edge in this game, even on the road, by the final score of 30-27.
The way Mount St. Joe's season has gone, Rose-Hulman will be leading 28-20 against Mount St. Joe's at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and Mount St. Joe's will win this one 42-28.
Bold prediction. That's become not even a comeback, but just a pronunciation later on in the game. I will start with Mount Union at Baldwin Wallace. Mount Union by 40, 47-7.
Mount Union 27-7. Baldwin Wallace has a way of keeping these games lower scoring against Mount Union.
JB?
Plunk, for 3 or 4 touchdowns. I think 35-21. I think Baldwin Wallace scores a few late.
The My Sharona championship game. Concordia, Wisconsin at Aurora, and that's you.
Oh, gosh. I haven't given this game a whole lot of thought, so I'm going to favor Aurora in the Frank mold, I guess, of the team that's been there before. I love the way the new quarterback has played this year, and I just think Aurora is a little more prepared for this game, and maybe give the coaching edge, too, to Don Beebe, and that's all I got right there.
Score?
Oh, yes, a score. 45-21.
We look for results versus opponents in this show.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Results are just wins and losses. That's what I was told.
Yeah. Sorry, JJ, we love you, but no. Go ahead, JB.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Don Beebes will pull away in this one and win it 45-30.
The Frank Riesling continues here, or has been there. So I'm going to say that they win this game 35-17. Next up, Wartburg at Co. And JB, you start.
Yeah, I think, I've heard a lot about this Wartburg team all season. I know Co. I think I might have picked in the preseason as a team to watch in the ARC, but I think too much Wartburg. They scored like 81 points last week. I think they win big, say 45-21.
Note to Wartburg, you cannot carry points over from a game the previous week. Wartburg still wins this game 37-20.
Yeah, I like what Co has done this year. It's been a nice kind of resurgence for the Co-Hawks, but I'm also favoring Wartburg, and I don't think there's any reason for them to let up 56-17.
Wow, hello.
And Wartburg is that good.
I thought my Mount Union prediction was something. Okay, Lake Forest at Chicago, and I believe I start this one. And Jim Catanzaro would disown me if I said that he was going to lose this game. But he also has a certain level of respect for Chicago. I know that. But they need to put their foot on the accelerator from start to finish because this freaking tiebreaker that the Midwest Conference uses, please change this. Lake Forest wins 17-7.
I think similarly, Lake Forest wins this. It's a little higher scoring, though. And I think I'm going to go with like 28-27. I've got a lot of those 20 games in the 20s in my brain today.
Yeah. That's what happens when we do this all the time. JB?
Yeah. I'll take the Foresters, say 21-17. I mean, I know that running back from Chicago has been something else, but I just feel like Coach Cat and company, that they know what they need to do to make the playoffs, and they'll clinch it.
Score early, score often, basically, is the answer to that. Bethel at St. John's in the MIAX version of divisional round robin BS to get to this game. I still don't even understand it. I think you start, though.
All right, great. Well, I am counting on Jaron Rusty being as healthy as everybody says he is. Bruised sternum, and they held him out of the end of last week's game against Augsburg for pain management. If that is true, I expect to see Rusty in really good shape, and I expect another barn burner between these two teams. In the amount of something like 34-32. Now I'll just pick something weird, right? I've got too many 3s and 7s in my head. 34-32, Bethel, and yeah, I think St. John still makes the field.
Pain management is what you used to do with me on the message boards back in the old days, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh, still on Twitter now.
JB? gotta pick. We got a clock here.
That's the best thing I've heard. Oh my God, that was classic. I think I've been kind of down on the Johnnies this season, but I feel like they're kind of peaking at the right time. They won this one in a close one last year on the road, so I'll give it to them at home. Say it's like a 28-27 close call, but Johnnies win.
Gary Fashing will sound like Pat by the end of this game in a winning cause as St. John's gets revenge in this game against Bethel by a final score of 21-10.
All sorts of respect to the Royals and Coach Steve Johnson.
Please send your cards and letters to Patrick Coleman of D3Football.com.
Oh, my God.
Claremont Mud Scripts at Pomona Pitzer. The 6th Street rivalry is for all the marbles in the SCIAC, and JB starts.
You know, a couple weeks ago, I would have probably said Pomona, was the team, but then we saw that result against Redlands, and I was kind of like, what's going on with the Sage Hens? I think CMS is going to be the team. They'll win this one. I think it'll be a higher scoring game, like 42-35, but I'll go with the Mud Scripts.
Mud Scripts flips the scripts on Pomona Pitzer in this game, indeed. They win by the final score of 27-20.
I'm going to try to avoid all the tongue twisters. Justin Edwards, I stumbled anyway, has been a great running back for the Stags this season. Strange things can happen in a rivalry game, especially when they're just like 3 blocks apart. But I'm taking Claremont in this one also. I think it's going to be maybe a little bit lower scoring on one end, and I'm going to go 35-20 for CMS.
Okay, I think is that the end of our... No, hold on.
We're not done.
No, it's Platteville.
No. This is the game.
At Lacrosse. And you know what? Yeah, as the music restarts, I think I have this in my predictions and quick hits, so a little preview tease here. I think Platteville does it. It's just like every time you count them out in anything this season, they find a way to screw the entire system over, and they've been doing it over and over. The wackiness continues. Platteville beats number 7 Lacrosse by the final score of 17-14.
No chance. I mean, not that there's no chance. I just don't agree. Platteville's been really good at home. They've won a lot of those games at home. They've not been quite as good on the road. This is one of their shorter trips, and that's helpful, but I still think Lacrosse holds serve. They see the bid on the horizon, and they're going to go take it by the score of something like 27-24.
JB?
Yeah, I mean, I've liked the Eagles for a while now. I think they're a solid squad. I mean, Platteville could pull off the upset, but it wouldn't really be that big of an upset in certain cases. I agree with Pat, though. Lower scoring game. It's probably going to be like a 17-14 or 17-10. Maybe a field goal decides it, but I'll go with the Eagles at home.
All week we've been getting the misnomer of the biggest little game in America being Corsica. It is not. It is Amherst versus Williams. And Pat, I think you've been to this game at least once in your time, no?
I actually have not. I've been to NESCAC play, but I only spent 1 year in New England.
Yeah.
And I was at ESPN this weekend in Week 11. Amherst has had a really, really, really tough season. Williams has had, without Bobby Mamera and all that, it's been a bit of a struggle as well. But this is Williams. This is Eve's game, and I'm going to say 21-7.
JB?
Yeah, I'll go with Coach Ray in the East also. Probably like a 28-21 game, but Amherst has been a little hot and cold. I think Williams will get it done.
Normally I ride with that same train that you just said, the Coach Ray train, and it's something about this game. It always seems to flip their own script in this game, and I'm going to give Amherst the win on this one. Another topsy-turvy 2022 story in Division III football is the way it goes here. Amherst wins 24-20. Okay, next up is a game I'll be attending tonight, Kane at TCNJ, and I believe JB starts here.
Yeah, TCNJ's been interesting. They their defense has really shown up at certain times this year, and then other times they've struggled. But I think they're a little bit better than the Cougars, so I think it'll be kind of like last week's game, a 24-21 close call. But I'll give it to TCNJ.
Yeah, really, Salisbury almost looked past them, and TCNJ does have some strength at certain periods throughout the season. I will give TCNJ the win here as well by the final score of 20-10.
I know the rain's supposed to start here. Is it supposed to rain down in Trenton?
It's probably going to, yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep the score low, but I still think TCNJ as well, so I'm going to go like 16-15.
16-15, that's a unique one for today.
Safety dance.
Dutchman Shoes game. Here we go. Dutchman Shoes game, ladies and gentlemen. Union at RPI, and this is my start. Come on, it's Union's game, folks. Come on. I don't care if it's at RPI. It's going to be Union winning this game 24-21. To hell with it. 28-24, JB, just for you.
I'm going to go RPI 7, Union 6. Seems to be the way of the world for RPI this year.
JB.
Well, since I have this big flag behind me, I kind of need Union to win this game to knock RPI down a little bit, so Hobart has a better chance of getting an ECAC bowl bid. So I will ride with the Dutchmen. I think their offense is just a little too strong, even though RPI's defense is great. And as Coach I knows, if I pick against RPI, they always win. So it's a win-win for everybody. Union 21, RPI 17.
We are now on the dartboard again in the locker room of RPI. Carnegie Mellon at Case Western Reserve, the 7 p.m. game on Saturday night. And I think you start this, right?
I'll certainly take it to start. 2019, Oshkosh upset Whitewater in Week 11. I'm playing Stat Boy right now, just like I did on Twitter a little bit ago. That's not going to happen this time. Carnegie Mellon holds serve. They finish out 10-0, and they win this game. Again, another low-scoring game. Let's say 12-8.
JB.
Yeah, I mean, Carnegie Mellon's figured out ways to win games when they don't even score offensive touchdowns. Their defense gets the job done. Case Western has, they had their chance last week. I think this will be Carnegie Mellon's, 10th win in a row here, so I'll take them 17-14. Close call, but Tartans win.
Carnegie Mellon has kind of screwed over the Case Western seasons in the past when they were having big runs, and this game has just kind of stifled them heading into the playoffs, and now I think they're going to actually go vice versa on them. Drew Saxton, an incredible career, incredible quarterback, incredible guy, as Coach Donato tells us all the time from Grove City. They're close friends through the years, and I think Saxton rises to the moment. He knows about the Carnegie Mellon defense, and I think if there's a quarterback that can beat them, it is Drew. I'm going to give Case Western the upset win here, 20-14 in a close one. Hey, Cortica, who knew? It's a big game. JB starts.
I think the biggest difference in this one, Frank, is the fact that I can name multiple offensive weapons for Cortland, and other than A.J. Winfield for Ithaca, I don't really know. Maybe Mikey Anderson. I think Cortland just got too much offense. Zach Boys is going to take it to another level, and I think Cortland's going to win this one going away, let's say 35-21.
I'm just happy that after the lap counter that you haven't done the Yeah Boys thing again with Zach Boys being discussed on the show. I'm just very thankful for that. Yeah, no, don't. Cortland, I agree with you, wins this game with their weapons on offense. It's going to be a shootout, actually, though. Literally a shootout to the degree of 40-34 Cortland.
Not literally a shootout in the Bronx, right? We're figurative shootout. Copy editor guy right here. All right. Cortland. I've been high on Cortland for ever since, Zach Boys kind of did this emergence thing. I see the clock has been at 0 for days and days. I go in Cortland with this one. Ithaca has so many really complimentary players that I don't know who their outstanding guys are. Maybe I will learn tomorrow, but I am seeing Cortland in this one like 42-30.
Okay.
All right.
It was a sweep.
Is that all 20 of them?
No.
Oh my God,
Is that all 20? Are you kidding me? Would you forget this game? Actually, you almost did. All truth being told.
I almost did. Yeah.
Coast Guard and Merchant Marine, and I guess I start this one. Listen, Coast Guard looked splendid at times this season and absolutely atrocious at times this season. Merchant Marine seems to be playing more consistent football, but when you get to a rivalry trophy game like this, you throw it all out. Having said that, I still think Merchant Marine wins, but in a close battle, 31-30.
Anything can happen in a rivalry game, but I don't think it will this time. Merchant Marine, as you said, having the better season, and they win this one pretty handily, 35-17.
JB.
Yeah, I mean, we talked to Tooper earlier, so I'm going to go with the Toops Troops on Veterans Day weekend. I think the Mariners in those beautiful new uniforms will triple option their way to a 35-20 win.
Listen, I know the federal government can't give gifts technically, but if somebody wants to drop JB a jersey from this game signed by the players, if Merchant Marine wins this game, and that's if they win this game, we will not tell anybody in the federal government. Trust me.
Other than we'll put it up in the background of the show, I'm sure.
It's a replica. It was a replica.
A replica.
Yeah, it's just I had it made online, yeah.
So normally at this point of the show, we let JB say how he's going to watch down in Florida the Division III games on Saturday. Reddit CFB's graphic, of course, has helped us out a lot with that. But JB, how are you going to watch tomorrow? How do you recommend fans do it if they have a few screens to use?
Well, I'm happy to say that I'm going to be like Pat, and I am taking my senior in high school to visit my alma mater, Hobart College in Geneva, New York. We're leaving this afternoon. I'm excited. So I'll actually be watching the games from my phone, but as you can see from this graphic here, the two New England sort of title games kicking off at noon, I'd start there and then sort of sprinkle in some of the Midwestern Conference titled games, throughout that 1 to 2 o'clock time slot. I think 2 p.m. though, there's some really must-see TV with St. John's Bethel. You've got the Platteville lacrosse game also kicking off at 2. You've got Lake Forest, Chicago in the 1 o'clock, Mount Union, Baldwin Wallace at 1:30. So, I mean, once again, everything's going to sort of be compacted in. You can start watching games tonight if you like NJAC football. So a couple of Friday Night Lights games at 7. So that'll be fun to sort of check in on that. But yeah, I mean, it's just going to be a crazy, afternoon. I think there's 13 bids still up for grabs, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with Pool C. But a lot of conference championships will be clinched, a lot of new T-shirts over shoulder pads and all that kind of stuff. Rivalry trophies, the Mayor's Cup between Wilkes and Kings. Kings is still on the bubble. That's a game maybe we should have talked about a little more, but should be an exciting week. There's so many great games going on. It's going to be crazy. We'll be tweeting like crazy.
Yeah, if you're in a Pool C bubble, you want to see Wilkes beat Kings because they are the mystery team right now and how they're going to be treated as number 2 in Region 1 currently. If they lose, they will not be picked. That's just clear as mud. So you and I should talk about what coverage looks like between our two different venues here as we begin to merge forces more moving over the next 5 weeks. But for the next few days, what are you up to?
Voltron.
Yes. Wonder Twin powers activate. I don't know where that just came from. The 1980s are in my brain right now. Right. So I'll be at Cortica Jug as mentioned many times previously. And then, keep an eye out for on D3Football.com. I'm wearing the wrong shirt. On D3Football.com, look out for bracket projection on Saturday night. We will hold our podcast, of course, for Monday. Selection show, as Frank mentioned, moved back to 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 Central, 2 Pacific. And then, I believe that we are in line to do Whip Around a week from tomorrow with all 16 first-round games. So I'm looking forward to that. And, continuing as things go forward down to Stag Bowl 49 in Annapolis, where I'll be calling play-by-play. I'm sure I'll have my voice back, and Frank will be on the sidelines, maybe trying to stay warm, maybe not. I don't know what the weather will be like that day.
That's why I wear the jackets I wear. They make me feel warmer somehow, some way. By the way, it's called the Bracket Blitz Show, just in case you didn't know, on your own venue.
I don't. I'm in charge of that show, man. Yeah. I just show up.
You just show up.
Sometimes.
Me too. That's the way it works great.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the help. Anyway, one other thing to talk about is our coverage as well, and we will have J.J. Neckloft's interview after the completion of the Turner Sports NCAA show at NCAA.com at 5 o'clock. So around 5:30, we'll air that interview, talk about how we got to where we will be on Sunday evening. On Monday, we will have the ECAC Bowl Pick Show at noon Eastern Time. You'll want to join us if your team was specially put in for a bid for those. There will be other bowls to talk about: the Cousins Subs Bowl, the Isthmus Bowl, the New England Bowls, Max Centennial Bowls. There's an ODAC Bowl too, isn't there still at this point?
I think the ODAC, there's an ODAC team that's going to play
Apprentice?
Newport News Apprentice.
Yep.
That might be Bridgewater from the looks of it.
So there are bowls all over the place, which is great. We love that fact. I just wish they'd push them into later Saturday or something, just so that we can watch them too.
Push them further west too. I mean, the guys in Wisconsin are doing great jobs. Ohio, Illinois, Michigan, Iowa. Let's get on it.
Indeed, let's do that. And then, as always, crunch time coming up next week. You'll want to watch Twitter for coverage. Pat will be at Cortica, as we said. I will be tonight at TCNJ for the Kane game. The Catholic game, the New Mac Championship tomorrow as well against Springfield. And then CNU at Salisbury, the NJAC Championship game, 5 o'clock or thereabouts, because it will be a little tough to get there for the kickoff for me tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to say have fun with the Bay Bridge. At least it's not a tourist weekend. You might have a decent shot.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I will get there. That's the good news. So, folks, we got a lot of coverage, and we got a lot of things to talk about. That this is it. This is the great unknown of Division III. What we go 11 weeks to do, basically, is find out who's going to get to the playoffs, and then we have 5 weeks of fun from there. So stick with both of our entities here, and we will talk to you all soon. JB, have a great weekend and trip up to Hobart. I'm glad you're going to be able to get out after that storm passes through you guys. So everybody have a great weekend.
Do we do a rollout on this show?
No, we don't.